for data collection in descriptive method. The first is observational, second is case study, third is survey method. Observational, as you know, in method allow researcher to collect data based on their view of behavior and characteristic of respondent. It is also important aspect of physical scientific research with its own most effective method of conducting descriptive research, and this process can be qualitative or qualitative, quantitative and qualitative. Then another step, or you can say, is a characteristic case study method. It is a sample group whose characteristic are used to describe the characteristic of the larger group in which the case study is a subgroup. This are poor in case of generalization. Then survey research. Survey research is a very popular for data collection method in research design. In survey research, researcher create a survey or questionnaire and distribute to respondent to give answer, and it is used to obtain quick information directly from primary source and also conducting rigorous quantitative and qualitative research. So survey research can be carried out both online offline using some very cheaper method. So uh, I have one question in my mind: difference between descriptive and correlational research. Because when before going to this difference, we need to have a proper understanding what is correlation research. Correlational research is a type of descriptive research, and it is used to measure the relation between two variables with the researcher having no control over them, and its object, it aim to find whether there is positive correlation, I mean both variables change in the same direction, and negative correlation means the variable change in the opposite direction, and zero correlation is there is a no relation between the variables. So correlation research may be used in two situations: one, when trying to find out if there is a relation between two variables, and when causal relationship is suspected between two variables, whether it is impractical or unethical. So these are the methods. Now come to the experiment research. Experiment research is the study conducted with the approach using two set of variables. It is one of, or you can say it is a one that obtain data through experimentation and compare them with constant variable, and in order to determine the cause or effect of phenomena under the study. Example, I'm going to give an example. Research is laboratory blood test to determine the cause of patient's uh, health condition, and in these tests the result obtained from the patient's samples are compared with the constant variable which indicate the normal values. So experimental is a type of quantitative research. Basically, it is used in science or medical science. It is based on control protocol and the presence of variable, the manipulation of said variable, and the observation of quantifiable result. So, according to its purpose, its design can be pre-experimental, truly experimental, and quasi-experimental. Pre-experimental means before anything doing, you have to draw or idea. So experimental research is used when documentary information is not available to explain the object of the study, and when the available information must be varied. So it is also used when time is deceived to understand the relationship of the cause and the effect of phenomena, and it has application in natural sciences, in the applied sciences, and some certain social sciences like psychology, education, sociology also, you can say. So some characteristic for this experimental research, number one is dependent variable and independent variables. All experiment research start from the dependent variable, and these have to contrasted within the independent variable, which is all those that the researcher manipulate to obtain certain results. Some control conditions should be there. The experiment are applied under rigorously control condition to be clear about the factor and that affect the behavior of the subject of the study. So this is also important, and manipulation of the variable is also a characteristic. Examine experiment is introduced or provoked by the researcher who deliberately manipulate the independent variables to obtain various results under the control and rigorous condition. Now, one also important characteristic, observation of the object of a study. We researcher must observe the behavior of the object of the study in each scenario built for it, from which he or she will able to obtain more or less conclusive data. And some other kind of experimental research or type of research is pre-experimental design. In this experimental research design, only one variable is analyzed and it is not manipulated, so control group is not necessary. True experimental design is also a part of experimental research. It aims to establish a relationship between cause and effect based on the strict control protocol. It is also based on statistical analysis to prove the hypothesis. That is why it is considered the most precise type of experimental research. Quasi experimental research design is also establishing study group without random selection, instead convenient criteria necessarily related to objective but the facilitate the process. And this method is used for most social sciences, and it is very useful to determine so many trends. Some advantages of experimental research and some disadvantages. So advantages, it can be applied to various area of the study, and we can use the controls of variables. Researcher has control the variables, and also identify the relation of cause and effect. I have told you. An experiment can be repeated, it is specific and quantifiable, and some relation with the research method. But some disadvantages also we can see. Condition of experiments are always artificial, and it cannot be applied to subjective phenomena. Some factors external to the experiment that distort the result, it require a significant investment time. So in experiment research, even sample may not be representative enough. So experimental research reflected some methodological sequence, like problem of a statement number one, then have to make a hypothesis, then also you have to define clear variables and control variables, then select a research design according to appropriate objectives, then what is your population, what is your sample size, then run the procedure and get the data, then some statistical data treatment, analyze the data, obtain the statistically or mathematically, then project the result if they are reliable, then predict the related scenario that have not been studied and their implications. So, and replicate the experiment with the different objects, with the different goals. These are the things and characteristic I have told you, and this is also told you. This is also no experimental research. I have told you. This is example pre-experimental design. one group test, pre-group test, and post-test design. This is an example you can go through by your study material, then you will get what is in it, because we don't have. This is another example. Wait a minute. I want to check. Yeah, these things are steps or design, you can say. uh, it is a control group which permit the comparison, that is uh, E or C is group independent variable is and post test means used to assign a subject to experiment and control group, and we cannot be sure the group are equivalent or prior to the experimental and control group. Now come to the true experiment design. This is also, you can check the study material. Now come to the control design, randomized subject, post subject, and only uh, only the things, these things are, you can also see in thing, because matching is the most useful in study where small samples to be uh, small samples are not to use, which is not in design 3. I'm going to show. This is group independent variable post test, randomized subject post test only control group. This is also, you can go through by your study material, it is all in there. Now come to the evaluation and action research. This is your third unit. Evaluation and action research. So what is evaluation research? Uh, means it is also known as program evaluation. It referred to research purpose instead of specific method. Evaluation research is a systematic assessment of worth or merit of time, money, effort, and resources spent in order to achieve goal. So this evaluation research is closely related but slightly different from the more conventional social research. It uses many of the same method used in traditional social research, but because it take place within the organizational context, so it requires skill, interpersonal skills, management skills, political awareness, political smartness, and other skill that social research does not need much. So, evaluation research also require one to keep in mind the interest of the stakeholder. So, this is a evaluation research, because research is not seen as a more interested in producing generalizable knowledge are theoretical, more controlled by the researcher. So, evaluation is seen more interested in specific applied knowledge and more control those funding or commissioning the things. So, this is a, and we will discuss later evaluation or action research. This is, I have told you difference. Evaluation research model, formative evaluation research model, and summative evaluation research model. I will tell you a little bit. Uh, like summative and formative. Summative is a help you understand how design perform overall, and it's usually done at the end of the design process to evaluate is usability or detect overlooked issues. You can also use a summative evaluation to benchmark your new solution against prior one that of competitor and understand if the final products needs. On another hand, formative research is only conducted early and often during the design process. So running formative evaluation allow you to test and identify issues in the solution what you are creating to them. So part of research design, it is a process choosing the time of evaluation and that best suit project. Some you can some other type of evaluation include usability testing, which allow to test your product with the real people by having them complete a list of tasks, and this is a value of something. No matter the method is used, the important thing is the test with people who are a part of target. So this is a all formative evaluating research. Another one is a summative evaluating research. This is a kind of like product survey question, and it is how easy is product feature to use. So these are things are come in summative evaluative structure. Now come to the next slide. Type of evaluation research: internal, external, and joint evaluation. Internal means it is a personal and the executive of the agency and the group participate, and it is a very continuous process which is done at the various point and the respect of various aspect of programs. And this is an approach to program or project administration that involve fairly continuous self evaluation by the principal, by the director and participant. Another one is a external evaluation. The person outside the agency to external evaluation, funding organization retain evaluator from the outside the agency and to evaluate the programs project activity for the purpose of funding on how the money given is utilized by the agency. Another one is a joint evaluation. This type of evaluation involve external evaluator and one or more representative of the agency. While evaluation is difficult, they can be very useful for training agency personnel and gaining their ownership of result. So come to the next slide. This is a type of evaluation research by the timing of evaluation. Three things are very common. Uh, Appraisal ex ante, it is a critical examination of the identification like feasibility report, which select and rank the various solution from the standpoint of the relevance, technical, financial, institutional feasibility. These are the appraisal. And second one is a midterm evaluation. This is a evaluation carried out during the implementation, and it aimed to draw a conclusion for administering the project or program. Next is a ex post evaluation. It is of completed program or project, and its purpose is to study where the program and project objective have been achieved, and it also include the lesson to drawn for the future improvement in later phase or in similar program elsewhere. So this is a type of evaluation. Now come to the next type, the before after evaluation design without control group. In this study, the measurement are limited to the target group and taken only once at the some point of time after the completion of project activities. The next is this is after only evolution design is very similar to upper one, which program or activities have been implemented is selected. So both groups are measured with the respect of the independent or dependent variables. So come to the next slide. Use of evaluation. This is a use of evaluation like to determine the effective of the programs and means to answer the program is relevant in the light of objective, to assess whether the intervention is effective, to assess the effective of alternate innovative intervention, and to enhance the quality of activities program, to determine whether a program has consequences that are either desirable or undesirable, and to justify and define program in cost effective term for funding organization. Means evaluative research allow you to test the solution and collect valuable feedback that can help you refine and improve the user experiences. So findings from the evaluative research are key to assessing that what works and what does not, and identify the area of improvement. This is all evaluation research. Now come to the action research. Action research is a philosophy and methodology of research and generally applied in the social sciences. It is seek in transformative change through the simultaneous process of taking action and doing research, which are linked together by critical reflection. Means it is a kind of action research which is some philosophy use in philosophical theories. Now the kind of stages. First stage is diagnosis research. Diagnosis action research, I in this have one stage. Stage one is diagnosis. This is the identification, evaluation, and formulation of problems and diagnosing the problem on the basis of symptom. The second thing is preliminary discussion and negotiation among the interest parties, then review of literature, then modification and re-identification. Then stage two, planning and intervention. Planning and intervention is a selection procedure, designing the intervention, sampling the administration, choice of material, choice of method for evaluation. Stage three is the intervention and impact of assessment. This have 2 points. Number one is implementation of project. Number two is the interpretation of data. Implementation of project is carrying out the treatment design on the sample as per specification, right, as as above step. So this will also include the collection of relevance data. And the second is interpretation of data. It is the data collected need to the interpreted through the minimal statistical quantitative analysis, so that impact of the treatment, the elevation of the problem can be accessible. And the fourth one, stage fourth, is a reflection. Reflection is a beyond the database result is the role of reflection with the main purpose of interpreting the result, the why and the how of finding and reflecting the onward the destination. So all these stages are clearly demarcated. It is possible to interpret them linear sequence as well as in spiral process. The next one is a naturalistic inquiry and case study. This is the fourth and last unit. Naturalistic inquiry is a focus research endeavor and how people behave in natural setting while engaging in life experiences. So this type of inquiry stem from the naturalistic paradigm, and that situates itself opposite the positivist paradigm, totally opposite. So the naturalistic paradigm or naturalism make specific claim about epistemology, that is how one come to know, ontology, the nature of human existence, axiology, that is one value that influences naturalistic theory. Some characteristic for some fundamental characteristic to naturalistic theory. One, value central to naturalistic inquiry. It is a reality is multiple and socially constructed. The concept of multiple reality resists the notion that the truth of human experiences in the experiences is out there waiting for researcher to discover. So this is the relationship between the researcher, research participant, and context inhibit value free, neutral, unbiased inquiry. So another is conducting natural, how to conduct a naturalistic inquiry. N- because I have said that this naturalistic inquiry is based on notion, and that context is essential for the understanding human behavior and acquiring knowledge of human experiences outside of its a natural context is not possible. So conducting research in participants natural environment is very essential, and conducting naturalistic theory is an inductive and emergent process where the researcher built upon and ground their finding in the data collection. So the process or the process of conducting naturalistic research, including study design, emerges from the experiences in the field, and while inquiry because human phenomena and action cannot be predicted. So thus observation in the field will influence and promote is a- changes to the studies design. So this is naturalistic inquiry. Now come to the case study. Why case study is important, what is the characteristic, what is the advantages. uh, Case study is a primary kind of data collection method, and these days is case studies are very popular to form qualitative analysis and involve a very careful and complete observation of social unit, and that unit a person or family or institution or cultural group, any or entire community could be. So it is a method of study it is a method of study in depth rather than breadth. So the case study places more emphasis on the full analysis of a limited number of events, and also it deal with the processes that take place and their interrelationship. So the case study is a essentially and intensive investigation of particular unit under consideration, and the object of the case study is to locate factor that account for a behavior pattern of the given unit as integrated totality. So it is a method, it is a technique by which individual factor, whether it is to be an institution or just an episode in a life of individual or group, it is analyzed in its relationship to any other in a group. So it is a method, uh, is a form of qualitative analysis where a careful and complete observation of an individual or institutions or a situation is to be done. So efforts are made to be study each and every aspects of concerning unit in minute detail, and then from case data generalization and inference are drawn. Some characteristic I would like to discuss here. Number one is a researcher can take one single social unit or much more unit for his or her study purpose, and to obtain information for drawing correct inference, even to make a complete study for a social unit covering all the facets, and understand to factor that are operative within a social unit in the integrated totality, and to know the mutual relationship with the cause and factors, and the behavior pattern of the concerning unit is studied directly or not by indirect and abstract approaches. So some by these characteristic, some advantages I have to define. It is a fully behavior pattern of concerned unit, and it helped to obtain a real enlightened record of the personal experiences. It also help in formulating relevant hypotheses along with the data, which maybe help in the testing them. It also facilitate the intensive study of social unit. That's why the case study method is using frequently used, particularly in the social research. Also help a lot of researchers in the task of constructing the appropriate questionnaire. You can also go through by your relevant study. And also it is also helpful to, means it is a beneficial in determining the nature of unit to study among, along with the nature of the universe. So it is known as the mode of organizing data. Even it also represent a real record of personal experiences, which very often escape the attention of the skilled researcher using other techniques. But some limitation also in case study. One, it is a case situation are case situation are seldom comparable, and as such the information gathered in case study, it is often not comparable. Since the subject matter under case study tells history in his own words, logical concept and unit of scientific classification have to be read into it, out of it by the investigator. And read brain does not consider the case data as significant scientific data, since they do not provide knowledge of impersonal, universal, non-ethical, non-practical, repetitive aspect of the phenomena. So real information often not collected, because the subjectivity of the researcher does enter in the collection of information in the case study. And case study is based on several assumptions, and which may not be very realistic sometime. And it is also used in very limited sphere, not possible to use it in case of a big society, because sampling is not possible under a case study method. And these are above limitation we find the case study are being undertaken in several disciplines, particularly especially in sociology, as a tool of scientific research in a view of several advantages indicator. So most limitation can be removed if researchers are always conscious of these and well trained in the modern method. So next is procedure unique naturalistic method. These are the approaches like holistic approach, insightful inquiry, and no priori theory, no pre-specific design of study, naturalistic study. Another one is a naturalistic method. These are the main steps I have told you. and this is a issue regarding trustworthiness and objectivity in naturalistic studies. Wait a minute. uh, Trustworthiness of findings, some criterias are outlined. Number one is a credibility. Credibility is a level of agreement between researcher data and interpretation and the multiple reality that exists in mind of respondents. Second is transferability. It is a quality it make to possible to derive the accurate meaning of information on the interpretation available in the specific on the specific context. Dependability, it is a third perspective of trustworthiness. It is offered by the Licon and Cuba, and in qualitative research we are using. And conformability, it is also refer the study to collect objective or systematic information and reaching a similar same conclusion by the different researcher. These are the points for credibility, transferability, dependency, and conformability. And these are the points. You can go through your research material. It is on there. And this is a characteristic of case study. I have told you. And this is a main step, which I have already told you. This is what is the scientific nature, what is the advantage or disadvantage, the lack of scientific approach in case study. So these are all. Now, thank you. Any question you can ask on your chat box. I will try to give you. So welcome back. If you have any query, write on chat box. I will give you one by one. After the end of this MRD004, I will share all slides on Research Center. They will provide you by your email. I will provide you after of my last lecture. Look, this MRD004 is very important for dissertation. So you go through by your research material, study material. It will help you for your dissertation. This is a totally research based material. So please go through. I think no questions here. I will share my all slides after the end of this all four blocks. Not here. I will provide on research center. They will provide you by your mail. Yes, experimental research design is a process of carrying outreach in an objective and controlled fashion so that precision is maximized and a specific conclusion can be drawn regarding the hypothesis statement. Means it is a process of uh, means it is a it play an important role in research that does not follow the strict tenet of hypothesis testing, and this is focus on planning research, and it will means it is a it include a hypothesis statement, experimental control, is specifying independent and independent variable, selection of assignment of samples. These through the you can accurate the precise empiricals. So experimental design is a subset of scientific investigation, is a popular and widely used. It is very widely used in research approach. And the essence of experimental design and perhaps choose the design and conduct experiment is the precision with one can analyze the relationship between and among variable and to make the analysis as objective possible. Now come to the basic experiment research design. Basic research design is a you can say it is a traditional kind of design. Means like randomization, replication, local control. These things are basic research design, and it is a Early we are uses in social sciences research, not in other sciences, not in natural sciences. So it is a framework of research method and technique chosen by a researcher to conduct a study, to conduct a to conduct the study, because we have in research design a creating a like a topic to explain the research, like experiment, survey research, correlation, semi experimental. These things are come in the basic research design. And some three there are three main types of design, like data collection, measurement, and data analysis. These are come to basic design. And it is a some essential elements like a accurate purpose statement and a method applied for analyzing collect detail. Basic research design is a kind of traditional design. These days come to many steps, many scientific methods. So it is a basic design, like reliability, validity, generalization. These are comes in basic research. And we have a qualitative and quantitative research also. Okay.
The slide is not being shown, madam. The slide is not shown.
I'm just explaining, not showing my slide.
Oh, okay.
Hello, I can't hear anything.
So the lecture is finished. Have a nice day. You can.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Vinita.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.